Alright. Now I'll try and get this into the holder without too much of those. Okay. All right, so we're live. We're back at it with the Kawasaki Ninja 250, EX 250R to be exact. Not a lot we can do with it right now. We're waiting on free seals, float bowl seals for the carburetors, and there's a hard line that goes into the fuel pump. A hard line that goes into the water pump that has a little O-ring on it, and then the O-ring's torn, which was causing the coolant leak. I think they'll be in around the 9th or 10th or so. So we'll get to working on it then. But right now, what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna pull the front brake caliper and just have a look see at the pads. Show you how to do that, and we just might we just maybe flush the brake fluid. Depends on how I'm feeling. I don't necessarily think it needs it, but if you're riding on the road, might as well be safe, right? Toast to you with some unsweetened homemade black tea. Get the caffeine buzz going and keep me on my toes here. So first thing is at first. Anybody watching? Probably not. A couple of y'all. Thank you. First thing is at first. I mean, I can see from here that the fluid is not bad. I'm going to move this entire stand. It's going to be shaky. I apologize. But as you can see, the fluid is not bad in the reservoir. I do have the proper fluid here to flush it out. We just might. I don't know how overboard I want to go in this. No, I don't speak Arabic. Sorry. English. Speak English. Mir Deutsch is nicht good, and then Freien Sie Deutsch in Schule. I know, just a little bit of German, and it's probably wrong. So these will be done in English, and you're just gonna have to live with that. So let's go ahead and pull the caliper. Have a look see at the brake pads. I don't think they're going to need to be replaced, but just for the sake of doing it and showing y'all how to do it. Every bike is different on how these come apart, but at the same time they're all kind of the same. Oh, she's on there, ain't she? Alright, be able to do that the easy way, so let's pull the whole caliper bracket. Now the rear brakes, you can really easily, clearly see them, and they almost look brand new. We're not going to bother pulling them for inspection, but we are going to have a look at these guys here. Oh yeah, somebody put new brakes on this really recently. Hopefully you guys can see that clearly. But yeah, they're honestly not the best. They're some Hensho and China ones, not Kawasaki, but we can live with that. And you see these pots right here, the pistons. These get to getting crusty and dirty on you. You can see this one's starting to do it already. They don't want to go back in because of that. Sometimes you got to take this whole thing apart, clean these off. I have a live video. I think it's up on my Facebook of me doing that with a Goldwing. I had a caliper that was sticking. Same style. I think this is a Taquito. It's not marked, but it looks like a Taquito caliper. I've got freaking 3 of them laying here. They're pretty much all the same. But you, without brake pads in it, pump it with brake fluid, or if you got a compressor error, and you overextend these till you can wiggle them out. Just take wire brush to them, sandpaper, and clean them up the best you can, because that little bit of gook there, that'll get these to hanging up on you. So let me grab a can of brake clean. We're just gonna spritz them up with some brake clean and call them good, because those are not in bad shape. Actually, they're just fine. Here to this stuff. I love the smell of this stuff. It's great. Hopefully the audio quality is better for y'all on YouTube. I have this dumbass Bluetooth thing in my ear, but better audio quality. You can actually hear me. Get flushed out. Up. And we're going to put back on. Honestly, nothing needs done. They are in fine shape. I'm going to be nice and not put thread locker on it. You really don't need it. Be nice to the next guy, right? Like that. We will need a rubber dead blow mallet. Chevrolet Blazer S15 V8 5. Hell yeah! Now you're talking my language, man. Oh, Facebook, I'm talking to YouTube. Yeah, you're definitely talking my language there. I've never done one, but I have been a part of an S10 V8 swap or two in my day. We've never done a 4-wheel drive. My buddy Jocko, those of you on Facebook know him. YouTube, I haven't been able to get him to get on camera, but he owned a couple of, maybe 3 of them over the years. And I know certain things are a bugger on them, like the steering link is just tight. You get a small block in it. You LS people, oh well, swap the world. Man, dude, S10's a light vehicle, and a small block will move it just fine. And you can get more horsepower than you're ever going to use or need for just an around town truck out of a small block. There's a kid that lives down the street here that's got a little more modern, like maybe a 2002 S10, and he's got an LS in it. It's alright. He likes to do big smoky burnouts. The neighbors over there hate me because my Super Glide's loud, and they don't like me. You know what I'm saying? They don't pay my bills. Pay my money to live here just like everybody else did. Alright, now let's see if you're focused in good enough to see what the hell I'm doing. Probably not. Okay. Hey, what's up, Robert? My mechanic buddy Rob Milton is watching. Best damn mechanic I know. My man does like a mobile mechanic thing. He'd come to your house and fix your car and shit. At least he used to back in the day. Working on all these modern cars that are a total pain in the butt. Mad respect for what he does. So he makes a living. I like working on bikes. It's not how I make my living. I just do this because I like to do it. Charge a couple bucks to certain people. Certain people I work for free. All depends. JIS screws. Okay? JIS bits. Please, not Phillips. Stop buggering these things up so badly. And then bring them to me when they're stripped. Okay, those of you who Facebook Live seen me soak this with Tano coil, that's why. See how easy that came apart? It's a couple of Tano coil. Rag here. That wiped off. Okay, let's have a look-see down inside here. See what's in the reservoir. The fluid actually looks really good from the sight window. But that doesn't mean there ain't a bunch of crap down inside the reservoir. There very well could be. You're sealed on there tight, ain't you? Just not wanting to move. How can we rectify that? Yeah, that's actually not bad at all. Come here, you want to see? Get you a little closer. That's not bad. The fluid's dirty, but dude, I have seen them to where the fluid looked like straight sludge, so that is not bad. But since we're here and we're doing stuff, let's do stuff. Now, front brakes on a motorcycle are a mother. They're a mother to bleed. Okay, think about it. Your reservoir's here. Your brakes down here. Okay, fluid, yeah, it wants to go down. Air bubbles want to come up. Okay, and where is the bleeder? Down here. Down here. So, what we do when I flush these to make my life 100 times easier, I have this little vacuum pump, and I literally suck the fluid all the way out through the bottom. You generally don't get any air bubbles through. You're generally good to go. This requires dot 3 or 4. I have both, and it won't take very much. It's a small little master cylinder. So let's see, that should probably be an 8mm. Come on, you devil. Let it go. Yeah, it's an 8mm wrench, which I am sure is like buried somewhere. You'll never see that guy again because I need it. And I just had it. There's a name muffler maybe. No, here's an 8 right here. Is she an 8 or is she a 10? No. 8's good enough. You are going to require a wee little hose clamp, aren't you? Son of a... I don't know if I got one that's small. I got a little one. I don't know if it's going to be small enough, but I got a little one. You devil, where'd you go? Fight you with a screwdriver, I guess, but it is what it is. Get their 8mm. I hate dealing with these little things. If I got a better screwdriver, that would probably help. Smoking's bad for you. You know what else is bad for you? Watching my videos without hitting the like and subscribe button. I think as a Surgeon General's warning about that. Watching Phoenix Motorsports without subscribing. That's just not even cool, man. So that happens when you move shops. My old garage, I knew where everything was. And we up and moved into this new one, and I'm happy about that and blessed I have the room to do what all it is I want to do with these bikes. this stuff where it used to be. Sometimes it's a struggle. I'm going to go ahead and cut this because I saw a little pinhole in it. And that's going to be not conductive for what I want to do. Geez, man, that's some tough rubber. There we go. Nice fresh end, and it'll do what I want to do. Slide our teeny tiny little hose clamp on it. Give it a couple little turns just to ensure that we have a nice seal. On there. That go like that. Yeah, that's a little more like what I'm after. And it'll be a little more better. Dude, I think we're just gonna have to hold this one and not use this. It's about fighting me. I'm not in the mood. Actually, not really in the mood to do this. I've had a busy day. But the show must go on, right? Yeah, we're not. We're just not gonna use a clamp on that. Crack the bleeder loose. Fluid will start to do what fluid does. Drain out. Puts back into it. Get my wrench back down here. This hose clamp up out of the way. You gotta go over there. Right, what's in the reservoir? Not much. Fill you back up. Anybody watching this? I got 11 people. such a tiny little reservoir every time you do that. You get a top a little fluid in it. Top and back off. Vacuum. There you go. You see the fluid starting to get lighter now? That's what I like to see. Okay. Waiting fluid up here. Basically, this process, you're just gonna add fluid, use your little pump, knock it out until the fluid in the hose looks nice and clean. And that's almost there already. So like I said, this wasn't very bad to begin with, but we're just going over every little thing. The gentleman is going to be riding this bike back and forth to work. He's a good dude. Make sure he's got good brakes and a bike that's going to be reliable. This is like a little commuter bike for him, so you don't want to have an issue when you're on your way to work, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to deal with that. I think one more good flush out of her, like that, should get the job done. And I'll be happy with it and call it good. This is one of the cheaper vacuum models you can get. I should have bought a good one, honestly, as much as I end up using it. But the doggone thing don't seem to want to give me more than 10 pounds of pressure no matter what I do. And it does work, it does do the job just fine. But hindsight being like 20/70, because I'm blind, I probably should have bought the $50 set, the Mighty Vac set. It's a little big for doing motorcycles, but I mean, I use this on cars. I just changed the caliper on my car a couple of 3 weeks ago, something like that, and this little guy actually did the job just fine, but it would have been nice to have the more powerful, larger unit. This would have been more efficient. You can get a good strong vac and it's got a bigger chamber for the fluid. Whereas, you know, doing with my car, I had to dump it once, and Yeah, see now. That is what I like to see. You see the fluid in there now, it's nice and clear. Okay. We have completely flushed out the old garbage that was in there. And this is all clear fluid. We're going to call that happy. Let's see what's in the reservoir. Alright, top her off one more time. Okay. There you are, you devil. I don't know. Bonus points if any of you guys caught it. I dropped a screw for this cover. Wasn't really worried, wasn't going to say anything because I have a whole other brake master cylinder in my parts pile that I can get the cover from. But here's that little devil right here. And of course I can't quite reach it. It won't quite stick to the screwdriver, so little nose. Get you out of there. Okay. Yeah, I didn't say nothing because, well, I've got another one to use. Cap before you replace it. Clean rag. Just wipe it off, wipe any dirt. Go ahead and cap you back off. What we're going to do here to make the life of the next guy much easier, these little screws, we'll take a little bit of silver anti-seize and just put the tiniest little dot on each one. You don't need very much of this at all. But it's an aluminum casing, you're screwing steel down into it, and something like that. Just touch it with it. You know, spread it around with your fingers so that you look like the friggin' Tin Man. Just give it a little something like that. And then when the next guy takes it apart, it'll come apart, and he won't be cursing and hollering and fighting with these. And I had mentioned JIS, Japanese Industrial Screws. That's what these are, and that's the kind of bit you need to do this and not strip things. JIS screwdrivers, please. I spent $7 on a set of tips. Don't use them that often. Nowadays, working on my own stuff anyway, because you see from my other videos, my own stuff is American. I ride Harley Davidsons, but since I tend to work on a lot of these Japanese bikes for folks, and I myself will buy them over the winter, I'll probably buy 1 or 2 bikes this winter, fix it up and turn around and sell it in the spring. I've decided it would be a good thing to have. Don't kill it, just snug. Snug. Do we got brakes? We got brakes. Let's give that bleeder one more forceful crack just to do it. I'm not going to use vacuum, but we are going to leave it hooked up so it doesn't make a mess. Hose on there. Just stage it up. Okay. Put some back into this so that it sucks up the fluid. And all your mess is contained in here. Which that goes. I don't know why I saved this crap, but I do. That gets dumped into here. was, I don't know, I don't mess with cars that much, but I figured I probably at some point will, maybe since I have room for it, I may do a four-wheel project, an old truck or something. Something that, you know, this is shitty. You don't really want to use this in a bike. You don't really want to use it in a car either, but something that's got a bad brake fluid leak, right? You know it's got a real bad leak, but you can't find it, right? So you're going to pour fluid in your reservoir, pump your brakes, and keep looking for the leak. Well, you're going to have to flush your system anyway, usually. So something like this, shitty, dirty brake fluid, would do you just fine to run through your system and find a leak, and then, you know, you can put some proper stuff in afterwards. At least that's my idea with the keeping of the used brake fluid. There's several other nefarious things you can do with used brake fluid. Well, if you're an old school mechanic, then you already know what they are. And if you're not, I'm not going to tell you, because you're not going to come back on me and talk about Phoenix Motorsports told me that I could and it would mess up someone's car, so I did it. And now I'm getting sued for $10,000 because I, you know what I'm saying? Something like that, peoples. Okay, so the front brake inspection is done and over. She's good to go. We got good brakes on it. We don't have to worry about that. Anybody else doing a brake bleed? Nah, Jacob, not necessarily a brake bleed as much as a flushing the system out. I use that brake bleeding tool because there's no mess, and it just sucks all the old fluid out, and you can watch it go through the hose till the clean stuff comes through, and there you go. Come back here. And there's your rear setup. Hopefully you guys can see that. There you go. You can see it better now. Alright. The fluid looks just a shoddy back here, so maybe we'll do the same thing back here. There's the meter. And you can clearly see, hopefully you guys can see, but you can clearly see that these rear brake pads are pretty much brand new. We're not going to pull the caliper and look at it. You can see they're new. The front one, I can see they were new, but for the sake of the video, we did it that way just so you can see it. Back here. I'm gonna need I'm gonna need a little funnel to fill that reservoir. In the wrong direction. These two should do the job. There's just enough brake fluid in this bottle probably to finish this, so that's what we'll do. Y'all still watching me? Holy crow, everybody's watching me on Facebook. What's up, Jesse? Roy, what's up, homie? Probably more can't see because the thing's covered up. The holder. Which one needs? Either one will fit. For my needs, I'll probably take. Probably take the bigger of the two. That should do the job. Oh, I might. Let's not do that. Probably wondering why I have a car floor jack out. Working on a bike, don't you? We'll get to that. We will get to that. All in due time. James, the owner of this bike, you do realize your suspension, your spring preload is set on like the weakest setting. It's set for like 120 to 150 pound dude. It's up to you if you want when you come to pick this bike up. I'll adjust that for you because the gentleman who owns this bike, he's not like a fat guy or nothing. He's just big. You know, he's a stocky son of a gun. Like 6'2" and I don't know, I guess like 260, something like that. He's a big stocky son of a gun. This is actually a bit too small of a bike for him, but for what he does, just pumping her back and forth to work, it does the job. But we need to put some preload in that spring for you there, buddy. That's just not that's no bueno, man. You're already a little too big for this bike. You know, the suspension's set up for someone half your size, so we'll set you up when you come pick her up. Let's see what we got in here. Yeah, not quite as bad as the front. Hopefully y'all can see that. But we're in here, we're doing this. We got the shit out already, so let's go ahead and flush the rear. Where can I set this? That'll probably work. And let it hang. Yeah, that'll work. Let me get this thing cracked loose a little bit before we start. Yeah, a little bit. Alright. The nice thing about this is right here I can watch the top reservoir. And build some vacuum. Like I said, this really didn't need done. And there's other ways you could do this too. You can get like a turkey baster or something, or a marinade injector, and get in there and suck the fluid out, fill it, and then pump the rear brake. Don't necessarily have to use this tool, but it does make life a little easier. Pressure again. This is why I said that if I'd have bought the bigger and better results, I would have spent more money and bought the Mighty Vac system instead of this piece of crap. But it does do the job for what it is and what I do with it, often as I use it. Not like a regular bike shop here, man. I'm just a dude that works on old motorcycles, fixes them up, sells them, rides them, enjoys them. And occasionally I'll take in something for somebody, fix it up for them, etc. This particular machine here, a local bike shop, this people new to this whole series, a local bike shop kind of told him, just forget about this bike, it's a lost cause. And if you go back through the other video on it, it was just a stinking torn vacuum hose, and somebody fiddled with the carburetors bad. Didn't do what they should have been done, and they got the carburetors way out of whack. So as far as making it run right, it was replacing one little piece of vacuum hose that big. I actually had to make one. And whenever the seals come in that are needed for the carbs, put the carbs back on the bike and then tune everything back in. And pain in the ass, but not an impossible job. Damn it, there's a bee in here. Get out of here, you bastard. Go away. Dude, we're gonna fight. Where you at? How you like me now? Yeah. How you like me now? Yeah, bees and starting fluid don't mix too well. Get out of here. Both of you. Go make honey or something. Do it somewhere else. Like, dude, I had bad luck every summer. I get lit up. 2 summers ago, I got stung 17 times. Stepped on a ground bee's nest, actually yellow jackets nest in the ground when I was cutting grass. They lit me up. This year, those of you who know me and have seen this, folks I work with, I got like a hornet or something trapped up under my work shirt. And dude, it stung me like 3-4 times before I could stop my work truck, get out of the truck, and get my shirt off. And I'm telling you, man, I had like softball size, it stung me like right on my belly. I had softball sized bruises on my belly from that hornet, whatever the hell it was. But yeah, I get lit up a couple times every year. Just go bother somebody else. Y'all have taken your pound of flesh from me. Okay, close up the bleeder. Put some fresh in. Probably, I don't know, one more time maybe. Maybe one more time and we'll call this good. The fluid in a hose, usually it's a big transition, you see it, but it kind of wasn't real bad to begin with. But you can see it's already come out clear. Okay, close that up. We are going to call the brakes done and bled and done. Not that they needed bled, but they are full of fresh juice, and that's always a good thing. Doesn't cost very much money to do this, and it's good preventative maintenance. Cap's nice and clean. No worries there. This particular model's got like a little hold down tab. It's actually kind of annoying. Whatever. But it's got a little hold down, I guess, so somebody can't just open your brake reservoir and mess with you while you're on the road, I guess. I don't know why they put that on there, but they did, so we'll put it back where it's supposed to be. Okay. Make sure we get a good pedal. Well, that's not locked up, ain't it? What the devil's going on with that? I never stepped my foot on the pedal, I just decided to flush the fluid. Ruh-roh. Well, we got fresh fluid, but that'll be if we, there we go, locked up reservoir. Dude, you might need a new rear master cylinder. That was locked up like all get out. And it ain't building pressure, and it should. Most definitely should be building pressure by now. We vacuum bled the brakes. That's what you were talking about when you said there was something up with the brakes and you couldn't remember. Yeah. I believe this rear master shot. And I'm not getting anything out of it, dude. That sucks. Bummer. Not a damn thing. Well, shit. That's no good. Wouldn't have wasted my time flushing the fluid if I'd known that. I guess I should have stepped on a brake pedal, right? Okay. I was going to move on to clean the chain, but I think we need to mess with that real quick. Quick look at it. Because, yeah, that's no bueno, man. You got no rear master cylinder. That is not good. Got nada. No air, it ain't pushing no fluid, it ain't doing nothing. Dude, that is not good. Used to work on Victories and Harleys. Miss the shop days. Yeah, I don't do this for a living, it's just for fun, but I never owned a Victory, but at my daily rider. And I got the hot rod bike. Okay. Yeah, alright, well, let's get to messing with this real quick. Because we, like, dude, that master cylinder was completely locked up. I stomped on it, broke free, but now we got nothing. So, I don't think that's a good thing. I think homeboy's gonna need a new master cylinder, which sucks because I just wasted some fluid, but drag under here and try to catch anything that comes out. Let's crack the bleeder here and see if we get the fluid. I mean, we suck fluid out of here, but can we get anything from the actual master? No. Yeah, it's not even trying. Damn it, dude. I didn't want to have to get this deep into this thing. Oh, that is at a 12 or 14. Mess with that. See if I can get it to squirt any fluid out of there. 10, 11, 13. Put my wrenches in order, but last time I used it. Let's get the cardboard. It was catching antifreeze drips. This gotta go because we ain't messing with this tonight. I guess we'll pop the freaking off here. See what we got going on. Not 14, but 12. Yeah. This bike sat for something like 8 years. Yeah, I'm not getting anything, dude. That's seriously no good. I should be getting fluid squirting right here. I'm not. No, that's not plugged. We know we have fluid going down to it. Good thing I decided to mess with this. You'd have never known. Jumped on it to go for a ride and not have rear brakes, huh? And don't hit me with this, is this a lost cause thing either, because no, that's not. You don't necessarily need to buy brand new. We could probably find you a serviceable used rear master. Well, they may make a rebuild kit, because it ain't nothing but O-rings inside there. And if that's what it was, and the O-rings were bound up, shouldn't take anything more than popping a new O-ring or two on it. Let's see what's up. Yeah, I'm gonna say that shot. No bueno, no pumpy. Son of a bee. Get out of here, goddamn bees. Alright. Well, there's definitely fluid going through it. It's just not. Yep. Okay, so that's one more problem we have to address, this fucking little thing. At least we found out now, right? I could have just bled that, or flushed that fluid and said, yeah, it's good. Tear off down the road and ain't got no rear brakes. That would have been a no good thing, right? Definitely would have been a no good thing. We don't ride around with no rear brakes. That is some hood rat shit. I don't do hood rat shit. Got both my phones used, one live on Facebook and the other one live on YouTube. So my man James, I know you're watching this. I'm gonna need you to research for me. Find rear master cylinder 2009 Kawasaki EX250R, or one that'll fit. That's no good. It's shot. Definitely shot. And honestly, them things shouldn't be very expensive. It's not worth trying to rebuild. You should be able to get a new one for, seriously, brand ass new should be like $50. Used ones shouldn't be more than $20. So it's really not worth me trying to get up in there and rebuild that or monkey with that whatsoever, because for $50 you need one. This guy put back where he goes. I was going to work on the chain sprockets. How long have I been doing this? I got an hour into it. I was going to mess with the chain and sprockets. I don't know if I even want to now. I got no damn brakes. Oh God, that's bad. Okay, so yeah. First things first, before we even mess with that chain any further, it's don't leave your motorcycle sit. This is what happens when you leave it sit. Alright, let's get some cardboard. There. Excuse me. First of all, I got friggin' tools laying around everywhere. Bear with me, folks. We're going to take this few minutes. Quick little clean up here. Shit put away before I do anything else. Because I didn't pick up my stuff from my last live wrenching session here, and it kind of was just because I'm not working on anything else at the moment. So I figured I'll just leave everything out because I'm just going to throw it all back together. Well, parts didn't come in yet. So that didn't happen, did it? Bear with me just a couple more minutes here. That's where you go. The rest of that went there. Okay, that's a little better. So, shift gears. Not doing nothing else for that until we get master cylinder. Get line out of the way. Oh, we got a couple more wrenches to put away. How many people's watching here? 37. Thanks for hanging in there with me, man. Alright, change gears right quick. Can you guys see what I'm about to do? It's maybe over here. Okay. Now the chain and sprockets. Rear sprocket appears to have been replaced at some point. We do not know when, but it don't look bad. I can tell you the front sprocket has seen its better days, but it's like slightly serviceable. So it's just going to be serviceable. We're not replacing it. But I would like to remove this chain. It was like an overnight soak. And I'm not even going to attempt to do that just yet because she's crusty and rusty and bad. So what we're going to do So what we're going to do is literally, before we do anything else, let's just hit it with some penetrating oil. it's just going to sit overnight. Because for real, that's in not so good shape. No, jeez, I can't hardly turn it. Spots here. Take this a little more. And that's gonna have to cook overnight. At least cook overnight. So that's where we're at with that. That's where we're going. That's what we're doing. Yeah, okay, I will, dude. I will. I'm gonna see what I can do on eBay. Naturally, I want to get you the best deal I can get. But that's what that was. It was just locked up from sitting. Okay. What we're gonna attempt to do here. All right. If you watch my last live, we tore into these carbs. And we figured out that, can you see good? Can you see good? Yeah. Well, let's put this back where it needs to go to. That was freaking me out. Let's go find the other one. You're not going to need a new chain or sprockets, buddy. We're just going to soak them with penetrating fluid overnight, and maybe I'll make a video on it at a later date. I'll pull it out, and I'll take something like this and get you a little concoction, something like maybe this, maybe a little diesel fuel or kerosene, whatever I got laying around, and we'll soak it overnight in that. Then clean her up with a wire brush. That's how we're going to handle the chain on this, because it don't look like it's in too bad a shape. It just sat for a very long time. So I don't want to hear Miss Tula. My dog's up there barking. Anyways, upon digging through my piles of shit, I came up with a much better piece of vacuum hose than what I've got on there. And while I was doing all that, I ordered a new carburetor synchronizer. Actually, that needs to go right up here where that should be stored. So I took a piece from my old carburetor synchronizer, and it just happens to be the proper size. If you remember, this piece was too big, but I said it'll work, which it will. But why are you going to use some crap like that when you've got the exact right stuff you need laying in the drawer? So let's go ahead and get to replacing that. Because honestly, I thought I was going to have these carbs back on the bike in 2 days and have it running. But it's going to be a few more days to get it running. And I'll jump on the interwebs when I go off of here and see about finding him a brake master cylinder. I was gonna leave that rear alone because I looked at the brakes. I said, man, they're about brand new. I ain't messing with it. And I decided, yeah, you know what? I'll change the fluid. Well, I'm glad that I decided to flush the fluid because I would have sent this bike down the road with no rear brakes. I don't operate like that, man. That's some scumbag shit. Somebody could get hurt or killed. Okay. So, as you see, this is just a smaller diameter. It's actually the proper size for this. I do need to trim it down just a little. It's just a tick too long. I just had a pair of snips. You use them, but I specifically got snips. They'd have ran away from me already. You little devil. Oh, this will do a job. Yeah, see, that's much more appropriate piece. I'd still like to see it fit a little snugger. And I'm measuring, there's not much difference in the two. You know, it's all blown out, that's why. Yeah. Touch a sealant around it. This piece is tapered, that'll be fine. And honestly, this probably will be fine too. I'm just going overkill so that I know it seals. Once vacuum hits it, it's gonna suck that thing shut anyway, but let's go ahead and overkill that. Just a little sealant. Okay. Make me feel better anyway. Wonder. Yeah, you're too big to fit. Goddamn bee is back in here. I hear him. Figure a shot of starting fluid to the face ought to let him know that he ain't welcome, but he came back. All right. She sealed up much better now. And that hose that you had pulled out and you said you didn't know what it went to, I'm about to show you since I know you're watching. Okay. So, instructional shit. Okay. That's the inlet for the fuel. And if you look, this piece of plastic down here, well, that ain't, that's right, that went to the PCV. That's a vacuum for that. Never mind. And it was the overflow from the charcoal can. So you walked away from it for a week and I forgot about where I was. Let's get a little more instructional. While digging through boxes, I had found an old carburetor. I know we just see it. Where did I see it? Yeah, it is in here. Show you guys something. This is a carburetor off of a 2-cycle dirt bike. And it's a Kean brand as well. Alright. I don't have the entire unit with me. I may have the rest of it in boxes. This was something from years ago. Alright. Now, I mentioned to you 2 different styles of carburetor. This being a constant velocity that works off a vacuum. Okay. Vacuum hits, opens these up, sucks them open, right? Your throttle linkage just opens these valves so that vacuum can pass through here, hit this circuit, and cause these to rise. Gives you a smoother throttle operation. Much better for a street. Now, a 2-cycle dirt bike, your power is basically on, off, on, off. That's how you ride a motocross bike. Full throttle, nothing, whatever. Carburetor setup like this little different. This has a round slide in here that's connected to the throttle cable. So just slide comes out, needle comes through this valve, sucks air. Okay. And this would be your idle screw. You look down inside there, it's just a little nub, and there's an angled slot in the slide. So when you tighten this, it raises the slide up. That's all the more it is. Your air fuel mixture screw kind of works the same way. It's right here. When you open this, you pull this out. This opens the port more and allows more fuel to get drawn up through. Okay, float bowl, floats, needle valve. And I hope the camera is picking this up. If you watched the last live, I had mentioned about seeing a ridge on the carburetor needle valve. You can barely see it. I don't know if the lights... See that little wear ring? You catching that? See it right there? Right there, that little ridge. This is a worn out needle valve. Okay. This is what's going to go down inside here. Okay. Like such. It's controlled by the fuel level. And then it's hooked to these set of floats. These are factory floats. You see they're not white plastic, they're black. That's how I can tell they're factory. When the fuel level rises, and it'll be sitting like this, fuel level rises, brings these up. Oh, excuse me, bass backwards. Fuel level rises and it brings these up. When they come up, this goes up, plugs this little hole and stops fuel from coming in. When the fuel level goes down as the engine's burning it, these floats are going to rock down. When they rock down, that'll pull this little stopper out and allow more fuel to come in. And I had mentioned, like I said, I have seen way worse in my time. You gonna focus? But this is an example of a wearing out fuel needle valve. I'm sorry if you're watching that on Facebook. I was showing that to YouTube. Here. Can you see it? If you can't, check out the YouTube live. It'll be on there. But there is just a little tiny ridge worn in this right here. Okay. I'm reaching around the camera stand, so it's just a bitch. But the floats I showed you, they go up and down. Okay. This is the stopper. This is the fuel inlet. Okay. When it floats go down, this stopper comes out. It lets fuel come into the float bowl. The engine sucks it up. When it's full, the floats rise, pushes that little stopper up in there and stops the fuel flow. It's really simple. And like I said, see, I got the shitty phone, the old one, on Facebook. The good one's on YouTube. But like I said, you can see where it's not. It's got a ridge. It's worn out. So that is where we're at for the evening. We're about done. We're going to let that chain and sprocket soak overnight. Simply because I'm not even going to try to take that apart until it's soaked. Take it apart, pull it off the bike, and inspect it a little better. Probably just give it a little soak and call it done. Alright, so I guess we're about to... There's some got it. Please send me a link over. Somebody's saying something on here and I can't see it. It is what it is, folks. Well, that'll be the end of Saturday Night Live wrench session. Sorry we couldn't do more. We're waiting on parts. And possibly waiting on some more parts. But we'll see. There might be somebody local that has one of them. The kicker is, I have a new one for the front in my parts pile that I could just bolt right on there, and there you go. I don't have a rear one. Not for this bike anyway. I have one that's like 5 sizes too big. It won't be worth trying to adapt. One thing though, I did pick up all the tools that were laying on the ground that needed to happen. Being lazy, leaving everything else, I was going to jump right back into it in a couple of days. So there's that. Anybody still watching? Handful of you. Yes. Travel with Andy Wahid. Yeah, that is a Kawasaki EX250R. These two are my babies. 2005 FLH TCUI and 1995 FXDS. Keep my neighbors from whining. Why don't we just why don't we end the Saturday Night Live wrench session for the reason why I do this. Let's give you a little sound of American Thunder before we pack it in. Listen to this thing run just gets me going. We have developed a slight transmission seal leak, so it's going to come apart this winter. We'll put a new one in. Engine is not stock. Got high compression pistons, a mild camshaft, aftermarket carburetor, S&S Super E to be exact, and aftermarket exhaust. This machine here is basically stock. Only thing done to it was a high volume oil pump and a cam chain, hydraulic cam chain tensioner with an aftermarket cam plate. Much tamer. Idle's nice and smooth. Fuel injected. So you basically ain't got to warm her up in the morning. You just hit the key and let it run for about 30 seconds before you pull out. So for any of the folks new to the channel, this is why I do this, man. Got two cool bikes that I really don't got to work on. Um, they're both in pristine shape. I keep them that way. And what Phoenix Motorsports is, let's flip you around real quick here. All right, so what Phoenix Motorsports is basically me. Um, I like to. Oh, dude. Sorry about that. Sessions. Little explanation of exactly what Phoenix Motorsports is, what it means to me. Those of you who've watched my channel, watched my videos for a while, you already know. I am one of those people that destroyed my life with drugs and alcohol. And almost 5 years ago, I decided to come back. You know, quit everything, go straight edge, live life. I've always wanted a Harley Davidson touring bike. I've always wanted a hot rod Harley Davidson. I could never afford it, right? So I would buy these old pile of junk bikes for a couple $100 and Mickey Mouse them and patch them together with what I had and keep them running. And that's how I learned how to do what I do. And obviously, I'm in a much better position in life now. I'm clean and sober for about 5 years, 4 years and 7 months to be exact. Um, yeah, and this is where I'm at. This is what I do. I went from basically just about homeless. I ended up crashing with my mom. I had nowhere else to go. I had nothing left. But sold my house, both my Harleys. I was in a bad situation, and crashed with my mom for about a year to keep me straight. You know, if I came home drunk, my mom was going to know, and she kept saying how proud of me she was for staying sober. And I felt like, you know, if I stayed there for a little while until I knew I was good, that would help me stay straight because I didn't want to let my mom down. And yeah, it's what it is. You know, we're in this position. We're here now, and we're able to give back to folks. I don't charge very much to do this. If I charge you anything at all, it goes person to person. If I think you can afford to pay me, I'll charge you something. If you can't afford to pay me, you got to at least be able to bring me parts, and you're gonna get your bike fixed when I have the free time to do it. Instead of sitting in a bar wasting my life, I come down here to my garage and I work on machines. I make them rise from the ashes and ride again, much like myself, because I was going down a nowhere road. Uh, yeah, came back from the ashes of a destroyed life to be where I'm at, and I'm proud of that, and I thank God every day that I'm blessed enough to be able to do what I do. So thank you very much for watching my live. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. We'll catch you guys later. It is 6:30, and I'm going back to what I was doing before this. I'm gonna go finish watching Derek at Vice Grip Garage work on an old square body Chevy truck because that's another reason why I decided to do this. I like watching mechanics work on cars. I figure maybe you guys like watching me. So thanks again. Really appreciate it. I will catch you later.